want to know which planet was causing your suffering? How about Earth?
Hey everyone, Brandflakes here, back with a new YouTube video. For today's video, I want to cover a game that just dropped called Blue Protocol Star Resonance. I think that's the name at least. And the reason why I want to cover it is because I decided to play it right on launch. I woke up like 5 minutes after it released and I was like, you know what, I'll spend a day playing it. And the first 8 hours, I'd say, have been pretty good. So I want to tell you guys about the things that I've discovered in the last 8 hours and talk about how, hopefully, this information can help you guys out if you want to make your 8 hours a bit more smooth. But for the most part, the game is very straightforward. So this will be more of like a basic tips and, beginner's guide. As someone who didn't play closed beta, didn't play open beta, and has really only gotten their grimy little fingers into the game as of launch. So just full disclosure, there isn't too much to do in this game right now at this exact moment. We only have one really small arc of the main storyline to even cover, and the second part doesn't release for another 12 hours. So I actually don't know who is publishing this game, but whoever they are, they're taking their sweet time gaming everything. So if you're watching this like a few days from now, a week from the release date of the video, then there might be a lot more to cover, but this is more of like, standard content creator protocol. Jump on the bandwagon as soon as possible and get the views if you can. So hopefully, even with that, this will still be somewhat relevant going into the future, and yeah, you guys will enjoy it. So just going straight into the video. I want to talk about the features that are in the game and things you should really keep your eye on while you're playing. Now, the UI is a bit awkward. I think it takes a bit to understand what exactly you're seeing on the screen. So basically, the most important button I find myself pressing the most often is going to be the features button. The reason why the features button is the most important button is because basically everything you can do in the game is going to be sitting right in here. So I actually don't know if there's a hotkey for it, but obviously in your menu, it's going to be on the top end of the screen. And so we'll be going through each of these things and talking about why they're important or maybe why they're not important. And there's obviously a bunch of currencies that I still don't know the majority of the grasp of, but again, first 8 hours, didn't play the betas, so this is just a new player, just talk at this point. So for dailies, there are some really easy dailies you can do. There's going to be the Elite Hunt. Elite Hunt are going to be these monsters that you find out in the open world. I don't actually think that the game has them marked on the map, but if we go into where the main open world area is right now, Asteria Plains, you can see that there are boss monsters marked here with the dragon icon, but there are also a few elite monsters that exist sitting around. So like for example, in the ancient city of Vil, there is a elite goblin monster that spawns like around the corner every 3 minutes. So you're going to be able to kill that twice, and then when you kill that twice, you're going to be able to get the daily rewards, and it's marked here. It's going to be the stunt wheel, which I'm honestly not really sure. I think this is like some battle matches like summons. If you played Wuwa, it's your echoes essentially that give you extra bonuses, but for the most part, you're just here for the tiny rewards like the rose orbs, which are this game's premium currency. If you played Lost Ark, it works the exact same way as Lost Ark, where you can buy their premium currency with in-game money, and vice versa. You can sell your premium currency for money if you really want it. And then obviously we have like your Luno, which is your generic in-game currency in this game, and then a bunch of other stuff that will probably be important as we go into the game. But obviously, again, day one, there's a lot of stuff that's not really out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of other content creators that have way more information than I do because they played in the beta, but those videos will probably be out very quickly after or even before I post this video. And so yeah, elite bosses that are there. Boss hunts are going to be, again, marked with the dragon icon on the map. These will be twice a day, and they seem to spawn at the top of the hour. But as you noticed earlier, when I went onto the map, the game actually tells you when exactly these mobs spawn. So for example, with the golden juggernaut, it's every hour on the hour. But down here, the frost ogre spawns every 30 minutes. And then we can see here that I think most of the icons are going to be on the hour every hour. So I don't really know what the rewards difference is between the two, but I'm just going to assume that the hourly bosses are more rewarding than the non-hourly bosses. So probably just go to the hourly bosses again once at the 0-0 mark on every hour, run in, slap the boss around, collect it, and then dip. So that's going to be a nice little boost to your daily income as well. And then going further up the daily list, we have daily missions, which are, I'm actually not even sure what this is. I think this is just, again, it's a gacha game. This is a mobile game essentially, but it's not really a gacha. The gacha isn't cosmetics. It's more of a real MMORPG. And I know there are auto battle functions. Like you can press a key on your phone and on your keyboard on your computer. The default hotkey is H, where your character will automatically cycle through their abilities really inefficiently. They just spam it on cooldown, and the game will quote-unquote play for you. But there are a lot of classes that don't really play themselves well. The class I'm playing right now, which is I think Guardbreaker or whatever the tank spec is, I think that one can kind of play by itself, but there are some cooldowns you need to cycle, and so you don't really get the full experience for playing automatically. So, but yeah, that's why there's like a bunch of dailies here, because they're trying to mimic the gacha cycle of like log in, do these dailies. Hopefully, it only takes you like 5 minutes. You just walk in, tag Elite Boss, tag the boss hunt once an hour, maybe once a day, do the daily, and then get out. And then I haven't joined the guild because I'm trying to join Nero's guild, but I think the guild master doesn't know who I am. The guild master for Nero's guild is Starmie. So again, don't think she knows who I am, so I haven't been accepted yet. But there's also these. I don't know what they look like yet, just because I haven't been in the guild, but yeah. And the unstable space. Unstable space is essentially a very, very easy trial version of the associated boss monster. So you see here that the unstable space is called Goblin Lair. This Goblin Lair is just the boss fight for the dungeon that is Goblin Lair. And dungeons in this game are going to be called Chaotic Realms. Right now, the only dungeon that's available is going to be Goblin Lair. Again, saying Goblin Lair a lot. Tina's Mind Realm, I think, unlocks in like 2-3 days, and then it goes down from there, like Towering Ruins in a week, Kamania Tribe is in a weekend and some days, and blah, blah, blah. And all these dungeons will drop different rewards. So if you are playing this game, you're trying to figure out where are my other purple items, you will notice that these rewards only drop specific slots for your gear. So every dungeon can drop your weapon, but only certain dungeons will drop other pieces of gear. So you have, from Goblin Lair, you have your gauntlets and your earrings. This means that you'll actually be missing a lot of your gear from others, or you'll be missing all of your gear, period. Like, you'll have a bunch of blues and greens from the main story quest. And there are ways to get other pieces. So, for example, I think, the Unstable Space, if you're really lucky, like I was, you can get the chess piece from Unstable Space from doing the much easier version of the dungeon daily. But Goblin Lair, the Chaotic Realm version of it, is the one that you can do infinitely repeatedly. And that's really important because when you get duplicate gear, you'll eventually unlock it. But there is going to be a Artisan Guild down here. And then when you go into the Artisan Guild, I knocked my mic, sorry about that. There is a function where you can actually break your gear down in order to get materials to forge more gear. So even though you're not able to get the drops from the Goblin Lair weekly, what you do instead is that you go over into the craftsmanship people, wherever that is. I'm suddenly lost again. Oh yeah, I'm not even in the right place because it's over here. But basically, you go into the craftsmanship area and you're going to be able to disenchant the gear into these materials, and then you can buy the proper gear from the actual blacksmith with those materials. So here we see Maxim. Maxim is the NPC where you can disenchant your materials, otherwise known as dismantling this game. And then if I go over to my gauntlets, you can see I have 2 purple gauntlets. And when I break them down, you see a 4 through 8 at the bottom. So it's only 2 through 4. It's just that it doubles because I click 2. And then these things, which are alloy shards, you go around here to Harvey, who is the NPC where you can go into gear exchange and then purchase the actual items. So you can see here that's 20 alloy shards to buy each generic equipment per day, and then the weapon is 40 shards a day. So it does take a lot of grinding. You need at worst 20 runs of the dungeon in order to afford one of these. 13 if you're on average luck, and then obviously the generic equipment, you're gonna be running it about like 7 times in order to get one of these. And then there is a small note for the dungeons that isn't noted on the content here. It kind of is. So when it says additionally, there's a chance to get exclusive appearance items of the current dungeon. What that actually means, I think, is this, the feet, the boots. But you can also get a random encounter that drops you a legendary item. The legendary item gives you a selection of 3 boxes, and you can choose between getting your gauntlets specifically, your earring specifically, or a random item. So I chose the random item box, but unfortunately gave me a gauntlet, so it looks like I just chose the gauntlet. But just keep in mind that when you're running the Goblin dungeon infinitely, you might get random legendary items, and obviously those are quite good because the stats are going to be way higher for what you can get. So that's what I have right here. And then moving on. Okay, so I guess before I say moving on, the Goblin Lair is like the only main content right now for this game. I know that you're gonna unlock way more later on, but you should get really comfortable with the Goblin Lair. It's a very straightforward dungeon. You pull 4 monster packs. I think it's 4. 1, 2. Yeah, I think it's 4 monster packs, and you do the boss. The boss is super straightforward, and it takes like maybe 6 minutes, 7 minutes tops with a bad party. Maybe 8 minutes if it's a complete mess, but it's less than 10 minutes unless something goes horrifically wrong, which hasn't for me yet. Going into the more casual content, we have leisure activities. I have not yet found out. Oh, never mind. There's a fetch store right here. So I said that as I looked down. So each leisure activity, every day you can do it once for increased rewards. And you might notice once again that they are trying to bribe you into doing these leisure activities every day because there are, once again, very important equipment drops. And so basically the way these work is that you just go to the spot where the activity is activated and you just sit there for like 5 minutes and then it finishes. And that's it. It's like super straightforward stuff. The Ancient City Patrol is probably the most quote unquote complicated one because you have to fall around the people. But Street Theater, you really just stand there with a group of people waiting until your first tick happens. And then Starlight Fireworks has not happened quite yet. You can see here it starts in an hour and 30 minutes. This will be the first one of the server. So I'm assuming this one's also just AFKing and sitting around for some free friendship points. And then here we can see that there are a bunch of things here for friendship points. You can buy the Rosebound Orbs for stuff, and then a bunch of items here, cosmetics and emotes, which is pretty nice. I'll probably buy one of these when I get the chance. And then challenges, trial pads. Trial pads are also very heavily time gated. These are just more things that will let you get some gear here and there. It's currently separated into DPS, support, and tank stuff. I guess it's not support, it's healer. I know that some people categorize tank and healer as supports. So it's the 3 main class distinctions. You can only do up to level 3 right now. I think you can do more later down the line, obviously. And this is where you get the coins in order to get more talent points. And then to get the things you need to actually get better skills later down the line, which are going to be the arcane skills for your key nodes. And then the Explore tab is really useful because this is where you're going to be able to get all the other auxiliary content in the game. You have fishing, you have your standard crafting stuff with life skills that you can do all in one character. You have, I have no idea what magical creatures are. I have not yet been able to achieve this piece of content. Time Machine is like another dungeon that's more just for like, again, more rose orbs and cosmetics. This is pretty annoying to do because you have to redo the entire dungeon that you did in story with a bit more extra steps, and so it's a little bit longer, and you have to do the exact same like animation lockouts and all that. But I think Tina's story is okay. It's a pretty classic tragedy girl, like goes through a horrific ish like war crime, and then she deals with the suffering. You see her POV, like it's just very standard stuff. And then exploration, this is just exploring like your waypoints where you can teleport to, grabbing the chests that are on the map, and just seeing what's up with the game. And the game's map is pretty small, but it feels very early Genshin / Breath of the Wild-esque, where you actually do have a decent amount of freedom to run around. It wasn't until I went into a map that I had no business being in that I actually finally got like out of bounds warnings. But the main PvE mode or main PvE map right now, which is the plains that are like right outside of the city, the plains. This area has been pretty fun to explore. It's just that this Windhow Canyon place has been a lot less fun because there's a lot more places that are like, you can't go there. And also the mobs one-shot you, so you can't really tank much and all that. And so I probably should have put this at the very beginning of the video just because this is more important. But when you do life skills, do not make the mistake I made and not do, botany. So these are probably should all be in different videos and after I make actual like progress in the content, but I just really want to make sure you guys don't make the same mistake I did. Botany, okay. First of all, there is a limited energy system in this game called like focus or something. So if you go to life skill, you can see in the top right, you have this thing. Yeah, it's called focus. You only get 400 of these a day. And so each focus activity takes 20 focus. So you can only do a enhanced version of something 20 times a day. You can see here that I burned them all into Gemnology, which I thought was fine because I was like, oh, I'm just playing the game, whatever, it's fine. That's a horrible mistake. I think right now, well, for the near future, like I don't know how important it's going to be. In my opinion, the only thing that's worth burning focus on right now is going to be Botany. And the reason why you want to burn on Botany is because you can see on Sweet Berry, there is an item called Emerald Apple. The reason why Emerald Apple is super, super important is because you go into Culinary and you click on Cheer Up Treat. You can see the Emerald Apple shows up in this recipe. And this recipe reads, grant a special effect, receive triple clear rewards the next time you complete any Chaotic Realm dungeon. Doesn't apply to assist rewards, bane loot, clear counts, whatever, and remains subject to weekly. Yeah, yada yada. You guys know, you can read it. Triple clear rewards is insane. That saves so much time, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are willing to spend money to save literally triple their time from each Chaotic Realm dungeon clear, especially when they're going into newer and harder difficulties, ones that have hard mode with drop legendary weapons. So speaking of legendary weapons, I should just like go to the Chaotic Realm itself to show you why this item is going to be really important. So obviously this game, just like any MMORPG, has like randomized gear stuff. So you can see here, I did just enchant it earlier, but if I go into gauntlets, you can see that my advanced attributes are all rolling differently on each item. And you can see here that even on the base attributes, like between this one and that one, there is a difference in raw stats between these armors. So that means that you are basically trapped in this endless loop of slapping around the dungeon over and over and over again. And you can quickly see why being able to accelerate your clear count will be really nice to people who can afford it, because the more time you save, the more gear you grind. And then when we go into the Goblin Lair maps, you can see in hard, which is available right now, you can see that these all drop legendary items. So that means that if you find a party that's strong enough to go into this content, like you can't match because you need to have the minimum gear, but you can join in with a pre-made. So if you have a party of 5, you can just hop straight into Masters, and if you're, or hard mode, and if your friends are good enough, you can clear it. And then obviously you can accelerate it really fast by eating those apples. And so people are already selling those apples on the market, and they're selling for a lot. The market is going to be called Trading Center, which you saw I just clicked in there. In the, I think it's Life Skills. You can see that these are selling for 3,500. And I think this is a low ball right now because it actually sold for a bit higher earlier. There's no charts, but you can see here 3,500 for the apples. And then everything else, when we click through, is selling for dirt cheap. Like, it's not even close how much more expensive the other thing is. So yeah, do not make the same mistake I did with the apples. Like, even if you are a casual, if you're trying to do the 20 harvests a day, you will need a stock of these apples, because again, if you're a casual, you would probably also like the acceleration of your gear hunting with the Cheer Up Treat. So Cheer Up Treat obviously is here. In order to unlock the Cheer Up Treat thingy, you have to go into the Mastery. You can only get 1 Mastery token per day. Oh no, it's 2 per day, because you can get 2 of these. So yeah, you can get 2 Mastery tokens per day. The first slot we can all unlock, but unfortunately, again with the time gates, whoever developed this game decided that the second tier can only be learned on the second week, and then the final tier is after 26 whole days. So once again, it's very important that you go into Botany immediately, because you can see here that this is a focus drop. So you can only get this when you spend real stamina on it. And then this Azure Fruit, which I think also might be a focus drop. The fact doesn't tell you what's a focus drop and what's not is really annoying. But basically, Azure Fruit with this Azure thingy, this is like the only thing that's next usable for, in my opinion, for these fruits, because you can get health regen, which is obviously quite nice. Like, fruits just seem to be very, very important for people who are trying to push dungeons that are going to be harder and harder and get ahead on everyone. And those are the people that are going to be the most willing to whale in the game and spend these premium gems and buy in-game money to then buy out of the market. So that's the reason why, in my opinion, you should be buying this. Obviously, I have not looked into smelting and everything yet, but just in my experience, like playing World of Warcraft and seeing Final Fantasy, consumables that involve active buffs are almost always the most consistent and reliable source of income. So once again, really important stuff. Fishing. Fishing is fun. I don't know how important fishing is yet, but I want to tell you guys right now, before you guys make the same mistake I did and wonder why fishing is so difficult. So the fishing minigame is pretty straightforward. You cast your line, you throw it out, and then you just vibe out for a moment and wait for the fish to pop up. Let me see if I can find the fishing spot here. And it's pretty good. It's okay. But the issue is that they didn't really do a good job at all explaining how you actually do the fishing minigame. If you see the instructions, let's see, the guy is wide. It tells you, basically, Click or hold the reel in button to gradually increase line tension. The water is divided into 3 zones. You need to align your fishing pole with the fish position to reduce tension. You adjust your fishing pole with WASD. And you can only adjust the fishing pole when you're actively fishing in a fish. They don't tell you that. And so if you don't know that, fishing is way harder than it should be because you actually cannot play it properly. So you can see here, this pops up. You can see that moving my... Oh, it ran away because I let it go away. I didn't click fast enough. You can see that like my fishing pole twitched, and it's because I slammed my A and D button. Without that, if you're not lucky, it is literally impossible to catch some fish because they'll go straight to the side. And if they go straight to the side and you don't know that you can move your fishing pole to align it, it's way harder. So yeah, that's gonna be this quick video on Blue Protocol. The game is honestly pretty fun. I played 8 straight hours and I still want to play some more when my friends get on and want to do the dungeon. So I'm having a grand old time. There is not much to do, but the art style is charming enough. The animations when you're in story can be pretty rough with the mouth flaps and everything, but the gameplay feels pretty smooth, courtesy of the fact that I apparently live on top of the servers. So my experience is probably not going to be very similar to anyone else's. Important to note that there is only one server. So if you're from Europe, the West Coast, or you're like playing the English server from like SCA or somewhere else, like you guys are going to be screwed. So my gameplay will probably feel way better than yours. So if you guys don't like the game because it's super laggy, I don't blame you at all, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's going to be the video. Thanks guys for watching. I'll probably make a dedicated guide on the first dungeon probably tomorrow just so I can get those, again, content creator shenanigans, gotta get those views in while you can. And yeah, should be fun. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye. What is that pink glow? What the? Oh, it's the sun. It's so weird.